One of our deepest and most central duties as people is to bring up the next generation. Be fruitful and multiply is the first command given in the Bible for a reason.
Well, that's true and it ain't true. Because if you start at the beginning of Genesis and you start reading through, well, you only get to the 3rd verse before God gives you the first command. In verse 3, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So that's the first command in the Bible, let there be light.
But Uncle Murray, that one don't count because God was just talking to himself, so you can't count that one. Phew.
Bless you. But okay, let's see where he gives a command when he ain't just talking to himself. Verse 22, "And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth." So that's the first command he gives when he ain't talking to himself.
But Uncle Murray, come on, you're driving us crazy. We're talking about the first command he gives to people.
Oh, okay, well then let's find that one. Genesis 27 and 28. "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth."
Aha, there, you see? The first thing he tells people to do is have lots of kids. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. See, told you.
Well, yeah, you're right. That's the first command he gives to people as you're reading through it. But that ain't the first command in real life timeline order, you see.
You're working my last nerve. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that it says male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply.
Well, yeah, 'cause he's talking to both of them, Adam and his wife.
I know that, but when you get to chapter 2, it backs up a little bit, and it gives you more of the details of how he made them first two people. So God made the Garden of Eden, and he plops Adam into it, and then he gives a command to Adam. Verse 16, "And the Lord commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die." But God hadn't made Eve yet. You see, in the very next verse, it says, "And the Lord said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a help meet for him." And then it talks about how he made Eve out of one of Adam's ribs. So even though the be fruitful and multiply thing is the first thing written down, it wasn't the first command that he gave to people, see? Because another thing about that multiplication one is that Adam and Eve obeyed that one just fine. Because that one's a lot easier to obey because it's such a nice one. So the first command was not to have a bunch of kids. The first command was, obey me. And I think it's real important to understand that the first command was to obey God or real bad things would happen, but that they said, no, we ain't going to listen to you. We're going to do what we want to do. And that was the thing that started all the trouble in the first place. But it's a real easy mistake to make and to think that the first command was to be fruitful and multiply, but like I just showed you, that just ain't true.
What makes this planet special, makes it unique in our entire solar system, is that it is host to advanced, rational, self-aware creatures who are capable of creating civilization. The planet has value because we value it.
Well, I got you another video talking about what makes humans more special than the animals. Mr. Walsh tried answering that one, but he dropped the ball on that one too. And you can watch that one up here if you want to. You know, I'll leave a link in the description too if you want to see that one. But the planet ain't special and valuable because we value it. It's special and valuable first and foremost because God made it. And he called it good. And whatever God makes is good and valuable because he made it. And he made everything for himself. Here, Paul is talking about Jesus when he says, For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether there be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. So in a sense, he did make the earth for us as a place to live and to provide us with what we need, but not for us to just make more and more of ourselves, ad infinitum, as the kids say. He made the universe and the earth and us and everything else on it ultimately for his own pleasure.
Well, that sounds pretty selfish, you know, making all of us and everything for his own pleasure. Yeah, that sounds pretty selfish.
Well, the Apostle Paul says something about that in the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 20. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why hast thou made me thus? Why did Charles Dickens write Oliver Twist? 'Cause he wanted to. Mr. Dickens liked writing, so he wrote 'cause it gave him pleasure. Oliver and Fagin and Nancy and Bill Sikes and the Artful Dodger and the Bumbles, Dickens wrote all of them characters 'cause it gave him pleasure. But we got something that Oliver Twist and them other people don't got. We got free will. We can affect the story. We can be a part of writing it. And so our primary purpose is to worship God and to glorify Him. You know, He wants us to know Him and to love and obey and worship Him because He loves us and wants us to experience that love and peace and joy that only He can provide. And He wants us to be a part of accomplishing it. And so if we don't understand Him so much, we think,
oh, hey, them rules that He got, well, them are pretty harsh, you know. He sounds too strict.
But that's just because we don't see things the way He does, and we can't see the whole picture like He can. And He wants things to be just perfect when we're spending eternity with Him. But He gives us a choice. He says, hey, you want to be with me forever? Here's a gift. It's salvation. All you got to do is reach out and grab it, but you got to let go of all of that nasty stuff you like so much and follow me. You don't want it? Okay, I ain't going to force you. You know, you ain't going to like the alternative, but it's your choice. But it got to be this way, and if you don't want it, I got to judge you, or it ain't going to be perfect for the people who do want it. You know, it's kind of like if you get a free ticket to see a show or something, and everybody's enjoying themselves, but then some yo-yo sneaks in without a ticket, and he breaks all the rules, and is being all obnoxious, and he's ruining it for everybody else. Well, God don't want heaven to be like that. He says, look, you want to see the show? You can see the show. Here, take a free ticket. But you got to leave all your foolishness behind, or you're going to have to stay outside in the parking lot, because I want everybody to have a nice time. You know, if you throw a house party at your house, you know, you get to set the rules for the party because it's your party and it's your house. Well, God gets to set the rules for His house party too, and He wants us to invite as many people as we can, and that's the gospel, you see. And it's all for His purpose and His pleasure, and He wants to share it with us. So in summary, the first command wasn't to be fruitful and multiply. The first command was don't eat the fruit or you're going to make a mess out of what I made perfect and it's going to cause a whole bunch of sorrow and trouble. But I could fix it, so have lots of kids and teach them about me and tell them of the free gift of salvation and tell as many other people as you can until I bring you up here with me. That's what makes Earth special and valuable because it's what God made and where He chose to play out His plan for mankind. Okay, well, that's it, and that's all, and don't forget to subscribe and give me some thumbs up, and I'll talk to you later, okay? Okay, bye-bye.